Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing Livewire Wednesday. It's our most listened to show because it's worldwide. We have 30-something thousand people in Australia that love the show. We'll do that again tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Then, of course, Austin Hanks' Blues Almighty coming up 8 o'clock on Thursday. And then the Damon Johnson Show, which is one of my favorite shows. I co-host that show with him. We'll do that coming up. His favorite Led Zeppelin song. So we're going to get back to getting the lead out. 6 of
was
his...
that you guys? I asked you that before.
What's that?
Get the lead out.
Yeah, we did get the lead out.
No, but did you invent that term?
I
feel like I heard it in L.A.
No, I think we just took an existing idea and took it to a different level. Because Get the Lead Out was like once a week or something. We did it every night at 6 o'clock. What I loved about it was, my boss was like, we weren't allowed to go off the format.
Right.
There was one morning, I don't know, I was hungover or something. And I played Blackbird from the Beatles, and I get a phone call, and I'm being told I have to take a day off work with no pay because I played Blackbird. I was like, seriously? You did not break format, man. I mean, if you played a song, and my boss knew every song we played, so if we played a song that was not on the radio, that's what sucks about that, because I'm like, dude, Blackbird from the Beatles, we're playing James Taylor and Carole King.
They don't need you.
And I'm like,
they don't need your.
Yeah, and I'm like, and my boss is telling me, you've been suspended with pay or without pay because you play Blackbird. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so I did the Zeppelin thing, and he's like, I'd really like it if you'd play a song that we obviously play, maybe a deep cut, and then you could pick the third one. Just do it by request. And so we used to play like Night Flight. We played some, your day is or your time is going to come. I mean, I Battle of Evermore. We played all kinds of really deep stuff. So I really got to appreciate and love Bronjar's Stomp. I mean, we played some stuff that you just never heard on the radio, and so you'll hear some of those cuts coming up this Friday on the Damon Johnson Show. It's a fantastic show. I'm super proud. I'm super proud because I get a chance to co-host. I'm super proud of all the shows. Austin does his own thing, which is fantastic for us. I love doing Dark Side of the Pooch. I love shows that I'm part of, and I love listening to your show that you'll hear later on tonight, 8 o'clock. It's great. Speaking of shows, and we're going to tell you about one coming up here in a few minutes. I'm going to look at your face when I tell you and see what you think.
Share coming?
That's a classic rock show.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that. Want to mention the Jimmy Hale Mission. It is that time of the year. It's getting cold at night, a little warm during the day, and the Jimmy Hale Mission, they have done so much work in a short period of time. Michael Coleman is a good friend of mine. I've been doing work with him for like 30 years. I help them out and do things, and so they're official charity of Tony Curry Radio. If you go to TonyCurryRadio.net, TonyCurryRadio.net, you can see a donation button on there. Click that button. Give what you can. $5 a week will save the life of a man, woman, or child. They'll give you a warm place to sleep, a nice hot meal, but they do want to see you get back in the workforce, get you back in the community, get back to the human life form that God created you to be the best version of yourself, vocationally, mentally, physically, spiritually. They're going to help you in all those areas. They really are a wonderful organization. JimmyHaleMission.org, JimmyHaleMission.org, or go to our website. There's a link on there. It's a great website. So this band comes out. They made this big deal out of it.
I must have missed it.
And I was kind of like, we've been waiting on AC/DC. AC/DC's album release, Power Up, was a year ago Sunday.
Yep.
We did it here first. We played the AC/DC album, Power Up, which was a #1 album. We played that album before AC/DC unveiled the album. We had a special privilege to do that, and we were super happy. Damon co-hosted that show with me. It was great. So we've been waiting for them, and they're like, we're not going to tour, we're not going to tour, we're not going to tour. Now they're going to tour. And from what I understand is they're going to start in Madison Square Garden sometime in 2022 because of COVID. Everything got pushed back. But as soon as we find out some information, we'll hear that. So this band is going to go on a arena tour.
They're going to play our arena?
They're playing, no, they're not playing Birmingham, but they're playing every major city. Atlanta, Nashville, Las Vegas, L.A., San Francisco, Boston, every major city in the country. Journey.
Which Journey?
Well, Neil Sean's Journey. I think Kane's still in the band, but it's Neil Sean, and I'm not sure the singer. But the singer they had, the last time I checked, sings Steve Perry almost as good as Steve Perry did.
I saw that Journey.
They're great. I mean, it sounds like flipping Journey.
Yeah, I saw them at Oak Mountain Amphitheater. I saw them with REO Speedway.
I'm to the point now where I don't want Steve Perry to get back with Journey
because
I've seen Steve Perry sing.
Yes,
and Steve Perry's singing everything at a lot. He's 70 years old.
Well,
he's singing an octave lower.
That's so.
And so hear me out, because I'm a classic rock guy. If I can get a guy who can sing as well as the original singer or close to it and still hit the notes that I remember, as opposed to get a guy up there that has a hard time. For example, Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Genesis fans are going to hate me for this.
Well,
they're on the road right now. If some dude could come in and sound like Phil Collins, and there's got to be a guy out there and can hit the notes like Phil Collins used to sing, because he ain't singing Abacab anymore.
No.
He can't do it.
Right.
He still sounds good for Phil Collins. He's banged up. He's in a wheelchair, and he's got oxygen. And, he's got all kinds of issues.
How's he playing the drums?
He don't play drums.
Oh.
No, he just sits in a chair the entire time on stage.
Oh,
yeah.
Jeez. That's horrible.
So, yeah, but he still sings Mama. He's still getting after the notes. Still, I used to love Genesis too.
I did too.
But if you give me a guy,
I know
Michael Rutherford and Tony Banks aren't going to go on a road with another guy. It's not Phil Collins, and Phil Collins still wants to do it. So as long as he still wants to do it, but if you can get a guy, and Steve Perry was Journey to me.
Yeah, well, he was. His voice.
Yeah, and he wrote most stuff. And it was very distinct. It was different. But if you can sing like that, I'm all about it. And I've seen Journey a couple of times without Steve Perry, obviously, because he's been in band with 20 years or 25 years.
So the hardest thing I had, I loved the show when they came here.
Yeah. They play the hits.
Yeah, they played the hits. They got a lot of hits, and I like some of the deep cuts. I really had a hard time. We didn't have great seats, but I had good enough that I could see. I'm sorry, I don't remember who the lead singer is.
Yeah.
But he sounded exactly like Steve Perry.
Yeah.
But then every time I would look up, it was not Steve Perry. And it took me a little bit of time to adapt to, and in fact, I would say most of the time I tried not to look at him.
Yeah.
Because it tweaked my experience. It sounded great. And listen, this is a weird, think about this. I know you said this with Temptations, but this is a weird model. This is a weird model that we have for classic rock bands.
Yeah. Randy Jackson's back with him.
Oh, really?
From American Idol. Dean Castronovo, who's been in, I think he was in the Damn Yankees. He's playing drums. Neil Sean, Jonathan Cain. Then Arnel Pineda is the singer.
He's Filipino, I think.
I think he is. And he could sing his ass
off. Oh, he's great.
And they had Stephen O'Jerry, Greg Raleigh, who obviously helped form the band. They've had a ton of past members. But, the lineup's really good. Dean Castronova's good. I didn't realize he was in the band. And I knew Randy Jackson was back with Journey. For you people who didn't know that, Randy Jackson of American Idol with Paul.
Do you know?
He was actually with Journey for a couple albums, then he went and did American Idol. Right. Now he's back with the band.
So Foreigner played locally. I know Jay Wilson, they were promoting it.
Yeah.
Saw some clips that he was putting out there, and when they played in LA, I have a couple friends who went backstage, and they look old.
Yeah.
They are old, but I was listening to some of the live stuff.
Yeah. Well, Lou Graham's he hasn't been with the band for a long time, too, so the lead singer from Foreigner's not there.
Oh, so they got another replacement. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a weird, are you okay with that? Like, are you okay
That's
with
why I'm asking the question. Well, and here's the other thing is
AC/DC?
The first half of the tour, Billy Idol's going to open up.
For Journey?
Yeah. Then the second half, Toto's going to open up. Toto, Journey sounds like a good Billy Idol. I saw Billy Idol.
No, Billy Idol.
I like Billy Idol. I love Billy Idol. I posted a thing the other day about his drug addiction. He's helping. He's created.
No, it's great. Great guy.
He's created a foundation to help rockers get through addictions.
Great.
I still think he imbibes a little bit. He didn't say he was sober, but he's like, drugs almost killed me. And Andy Spinozzi, who's a really good friend of mine, God rest his soul, is no longer with us, but he told me the story about one night him and Billy Idol got together, and he's like, dude, it was crazy. I can't even share it on the air. Billy Idol used to get after it. That's what Billy Idol was. But yeah, and he looks like an old Billy Idol, but I wouldn't I saw him with a Miley Cyrus thing, and I thought it was horrible.
It was really bad.
It was
Toto. I feel the thing about Toto. I like songs by Toto.
Yeah.
Toto gets a little boring for me.
Yeah.
Not boring. Yeah, a little boring. But I think that's a good. I think I like.
I love that Africa tune.
I hate that song.
There's a band coming to town. I wanted to mention this. Going on Thursday night, episode 5, and a band called Hit Radio is going to be doing a fundraiser at the Perfect Note coming up here on Thursday night from 7 to 9:30. I'll be out there emceeing the show for the Bright House Foundation.
Nice.
We hadn't done anything with the Bright House Foundation in the last couple of years. It's a foundation that looks after special needs individuals, kids, and adults. We work explicitly with Arca, Jefferson County, Walker County, the Exceptional Foundation, all these different foundations. We like to consider ourselves the caulk of special needs.
The what?
The caulk.
Oh, caulk.
For a lot of people that don't know how to find out how to get information, and it's not all about the money. It's more about the passion and just standing behind something. We really, obviously, with our special needs kid, we were inspired to do something. So that's been going on for like 10 years, and we used to dole out $30,000 to $40,000 a year, and we went through some changes here in the family, and so we haven't done the last couple of years, so we're going to try to start bringing that back because a lot of people count on us to do those things, and my ex used to do just a marvelous job with the foundation. She used to go shopping every year, and we used to do pillows, and we didn't do we did a lot of our stuff around the holidays because that's where the need seems to be the most, and it wasn't like a Toys for Tots, nothing against Toys for Tots. We weren't asking just people to bring stuff. We would explicitly asking, they need this. They need this size. We wanted to fit everybody.
Yes,
and again, my ex did a wonderful job doing that. Anyway, we'll be at the Perfect Note. The Perfect Note, you go to perfectnotelive.com, perfectnotelive.com for tickets. 5 sets of music, 2 bands coming up on Thursday night at the Perfect Note. Tickets are only $15, and all the proceeds going to the Bright House Foundation. Again, episode 5 and Hit Radio. I got a chance to go see my good friend Steve Land. And they were setting up at some dude's house over in Meadowbrook. And I went in there, and it was like, he's like, listen to a couple songs. And they did Ambrosia. They did Kenny Loggins. They did some Toto, which reminded the story. They were fantastic. They were really, really good. So if you get a chance, Thursday night, you should come out and see me.
Do you really like the song Africa?
I do not like the song Africa. I know that there's been a lot of remakes of it. I never liked the song when it first came out.
Right.
I understand, like every hit record, I understand why people like the song. It's got a great melody, but I just don't like it. I just never liked that song. I like Rosanna. There was Album of the Year that year. It won a Grammy Award. I'm not saying it shouldn't, and I know Africa was a huge hit, but I never liked that song. For some reason, that song just never. You know what's really weird as I've gotten older is when you hear a song that you never liked. It's like beets. My mom used to feed us red beets. They're good for you. They got all kinds of vitamins and stuff.
Yep.
I need to go get me some red beets, by the way. That'd be good for my diet, red beets.
That would be very good for your diet. And lots of antioxidants.
Put some butter on there, some salt, and
No,
just
you will not
heat
too
them
much
up really
butter,
good.
but,
I don't like the sour beets. I like the just the regular beets with some butter and some salt on them. It's really good. I never liked beets. And then one day, because when we're all born, people don't realize this. When we're all born, our taste buds like everything. The only reason we don't like things is because things that are planted in our brains. It's kind of like racism. When we're born, we're not racist. We become racist based on the people we surround ourselves with and the plants that are seeded, the seeds that are planted in our brains create us that way. That's why when you go to daycare centers, you see Orientals, you see blacks, you see whites, you see Indians, you see all these kids, and they're all getting together and they're swapping snot, and it's all great, and they're sneezing on each other and giving each other COVID. It's great. Okay, so when you're growing up, depending on what your mom's trying to force feed you, it's an acquired taste. I know some people that like everything, like they'll eat anything. I wish I was like that. I wish I liked fish.
I'll eat almost anything, and for me, even if I don't like it, there are very few foods that I can't eat or won't eat. So there's a lot of foods that are not my preference, but I would eat it. It doesn't.
If someone ever says, you need to try this, I will try it. But if they say you need to try it, I know all of it already that it's something that I ain't supposed to like.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because if I go, I don't really like fish. Well, you need to try this.
Okay, well, that's
it doesn't even
different.
taste like it. It's not fishy. I
tastes
don't like
chicken.
fish. If it's like fish, I don't like it. And I told the story about my mom who made chicken salad, hot chicken salad.
Ew.
It was really, really good,
Oh.
and I had 3 plates of it. And then she said, "I told you I like fish." It was tuna salad.
Oh yeah, I was going to say
And
that.
it pissed me off, and it traumatized me for life. It scarred me for life. From that point on, I said, "I'm never eating fish again." And so, but I like it. But I've tried mud bugs. I've tried lobster. I've tried different things. And the thing is, if there's a steak, I'd rather eat a steak instead of try something. So, but
okay.
beets were one of those things.
So
or one
funny.
day, like 20 years ago, all of a sudden, I'm going to the store. And I'm like, beets. That looks good. I never liked beets. I hated beets, and now I love
You sound
beets.
like an old Jewish guy.
I'm like, how in the hell do I like
Well,
beets so much?
I don't know. I used to hate beets. Now I love them.
No, I love beets. Those little cabbages,
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts.
They stink.
I love cabbage. I like coleslaw.
Yeah.
I like lettuce, but I hate them little cabbages. I
You
don't
still
like
like-
Brussels. I hate Brussels sprouts.
Have you ever had them roasted? Have you ever had them deep fried?
Yes,
Have
I've
you
had.
them
Yes,
deep- Oh
yes.
no!
I've had deep fried
You're
Brussels
gonna
sprouts.
love that. No, you need to try the deep fried kind.
It's you know what it
They
is.
stink.
It's the texture.
Well, they stink too.
It's got to be a texture. It's got to be the texture in my
Okay,
mouth is
So
like
where
I don't
are
like
you going?
mealy things.
Where are you? This has got. Where are you going with the song Africa?
So
Dude, I think sometimes you're starting to trail off.
So recently, thank you for bringing me back. Recently, I'm finding songs that I used to never like, and I
Yes.
like them now.
Yes.
What the hell's that?
Well,
I'm hearing songs that I've heard for years that I never liked.
particularly for you, it's weird because your whole career was steeped in listening to music.
Bloody Well Right,
Oh,
a song from Supertramp. I never liked that song. We
Yeah.
played it for 20-something years.
That's
I never
what I
liked that
mean.
song. I would leave the studio. I go take a leak, go get a cup of coffee, go talk to the sales exec, whatever. And then I'm putting together a list of songs
yeah.
that I like on this radio station. Now it's one of my favorite songs. I'm like, how is that possible? I did not like that song. I never liked that song. And now Bloody Well Right sounds really good to me.
Because things have changed. You have changed. Your tastes have changed. Your perspective on music
So
has
I may
changed.
like fish one day.
You should try the fish dish. It's going to be delicious. So the Africa thing, that was one of those songs that came out. I was like, oh God. Although any song that the songwriter can insert Mount Kilimanjaro,
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
yeah, hey, my hat off to
Yeah, that's
you.
pretty
'Cause
good.
but I was like, and I hated it. And it was one of those songs where, again, like Toto, where as soon as it came on,
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, change it. I don't know if I told you. So my son, who went to Indian,
It's a long song, too. It's about 5
oh
minutes long.
geez.
Yeah.
So my son is in Indian Springs, where your kid goes, and he's in the choir, and he's in what's called contemporary ensemble, where it's basically they're taught to play contemporary rock music. They play the guitars and bass and the sing, and they have this concert every year, and the instructor would pick out songs for them, and based on the year and the talent, he would sort of pick appropriate songs. And my son's senior year, he was in the sort of the most advanced group, and every year the instructor would pick out every year somewhere in there, he'd pick out a song for what I called For the Parents.
Yep.
And it was usually some classic rock song. The
Yep.
Eagles, Take It Easy, More Than a Feeling, all of a sudden, yeah, okay. And every year we were like waiting. What's it going to be this year? So he comes home one day, he's like, we're practicing this song. And, again, they don't know the song. Like, they know. He's like, it's some song called Africa. He got halfway out, and both Jules and I are like, oh. He's like, oh, God. And I'm like, why does he pick it? And it is musically, and you probably understand, musically, there's a lot of complexity to it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of, but I was like, dude, really? And the worst part about Africa is it got stuck in your head. And even as I'm talking right now, it's the lyrics already stuck in my head.
What was the group that did the remake that was so big?
I don't know, because I hate Africa. I didn't even know there was a remake.
Weezer.
Oh, right.
Weezer did it. And that, for some reason, I don't know the story behind it, but some reason a lot of their fans wanted them to do a remake of Africa. I'm not sure why, and it doesn't sound like Africa.
Did they say Mount Kilimanjaro?
Oh yeah, it's Weezer, but Weezer did a remake of that, and they started doing it in concert.
People liked it.
And Yeah, but I'm with you, dude. That song just doesn't do it. It's a great song. It's obviously a great song. It was like the biggest song off that album. I loved "I'll Be Over You." I thought it was a Grammy award-winning album. It was a great album. But I'm like,
my kid did it. It was like they did a good job, but I was like, come on, couldn't you do some AC/DC? Like, couldn't you do? You had to pick Africa.
it's just a blah song. It's just kind of mellow. Just kind of like.
It's like
I know,
it's like
Africa. You're gonna be singing this.
the only part I look forward to is that one.
I don't even know the words to it.
No, all I look as sure as Mount Kilimanjaro rises from the sun. That's the only part of the song I look forward to because I think it's wonderful.
Even the beginning of it.
But you know it's coming.
Oh, I know. We used to play the hell.
It is
of that
like
song.
it's like unseasoned chicken or steak. Like where you're like
vanilla is what it is.
Yes,
it's vanilla. It's vanilla ice cream.
But you know what? But
Made
people who like
bottles.
the songs like vanilla. They like the nuance of it. There's a nuance to it.
But I would not want to hear it in concert because I think I'd be really interesting to go to a Toto concert and hear that song and see how many people go take a leak.
I would.
How many people would leave?
Because like, can you see people sing?
And it's one of their biggest songs. I don't know.
You like Foreigner, How Does Love Feel?
No, I hate that song. No, that was.
That's the lighters up in the air.
I like some of their soft stuff. That's when Lou Gramm, if I remember the story correct, Lou Gramm wanted to take the band in a softer way, where Mick Jones, the guitar player, wanted to keep it rocking, the head games and the double visions and the hot bloodeds, and that's where the band started. And that song specifically was the one where they kind of started parting ways because he's like, listen, I don't want to be singing ballads with gospel singers behind us.
Well, that was Styx and
but that was one of their
Speedwagon, right?
But that was one of their biggest songs ever.
Peter Cetera. Is that
Chicago?
Chicago. I'm sorry. That was the issue with Chicago, right? It was also kind of the issue with Styx. I mean, Styx went. Dennis DeYoung got like weird.
Got weird. Yeah, all started with Mr. Roboto.
I had a buddy of mine. This was
But then you look, if you look at REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking
Kevin Cronin. I mean, they were already playing some.
I love their
Time for Me to Fly.
Oh, I love that song.
Don't Let Him Go. But they rocked.
They were rock ballads. They were power ballads.
Yeah.
What'd you call them?
Yeah, but then it got really mellow.
Like what?
And it was kind of like I can't even think of some of the songs they did in the late '80s. It got REO Speedwagon got really mellow. And then when they rocked, it didn't sound good. It's kind of like, okay, you guys don't sound like you want to rock anymore. That's where, it's like Elton John. Elton John used to rock a little bit.
Not rock.
Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. I mean, he used to get
it was
after
like poppy
I
rock.
played Take Me to the Pilot.
It wasn't rock. Was it rock? Yeah, I guess. No, you're right.
He was classic. He was classic rock.
For the time.
Yeah.
I just like his ballads.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then you get a Zeppelin on there, which we'll be doing, the top 6 favorite Zeppelin songs from Damon Johnson, the Damon Johnson Show on Friday night, 8 o'clock right here on Tony Kurre Radio. Make sure you download the app. That band, they couldn't not play a drum solo or a heavy guitar even in their ballads. The Rain song, I mean, that thing is a great song. It's a slow song. It's one of my favorite songs. It's 7.5 minutes long, but man, it's just, I mean, the middle of it's dun 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 dun.